Hello, TCI family and Facebook family, and Jonathan's Refuge and Grace Connection Services. Blessings to everybody. God bless you. This is the Bishop of TCI coming to you with our weekly message. I want to jump right into it like I do. We don't waste time. And we've been speaking in January about gratitude and what gratitude can do for you. So as I sat here this morning at my desk in the office, I was contemplating my workout. And, you probably saw on Facebook a little picture of me wearing this weird mask, and it was so tight on that the fat from my cheeks was bulging out these little holes. It's a mask that's designed to teach you how to acclimate to high altitude. So it simulates, as an example, this one peaks out at 15,000. So I just start with 15,000. So when I'm walking today for 3 miles, I walked 3 miles at 15,000 feet with my system. So my lungs and my heart were just bursting. I mean, it feels like someone's about to explode out of your chest, having had multiple heart attacks. A little disarming, but I was grateful. I was sitting there saying to myself, gosh, I am so grateful for the fact that I can actually push my body to this point, because that's one of the things I've learned is in my gratitude, I get more strength, and in more strength comes further progress in our life, right? So First Thessalonians in the Bible, God said, he's talking about be grateful, be thankful for everything. Now, creation through gratitude is what we kind of spoke about last week that we'd be discussing. I want to read some quotes, some studies, throw some things at you. Number one, gratitude can turn what little you have into abundance. You say, I don't have anything. Then be grateful for not having anything. Be grateful that you're in a position right now where you can just move, twist, go, and there's nothing to pack and shove in a box. You can just take off wherever opportunity strikes. Be grateful. You're like, but I want all that stuff. I get it. But if you are grateful for what you have and you really sincerely mean it, then the universe has this way of working. God has this way of working so that we actually become super filled with abundance. Let's continue. A man named Passmore and Odes in 2016 did a study. They found that as expectations have changed, gratitude has diminished in Western society. I've been to a lot of places in South America and I've been around the world, not everywhere, but in a lot of places. And one of the things that's interesting is whenever I go to a third world country, man, you are grateful for that dirty toilet that you complain about downtown Seattle. You know, the one you're like, it's so, I can't believe it. No, you'd be grateful for it. Now you say, I'm not going to be grateful for that. I refuse. That's okay. Go ahead and refuse to be grateful for it. And watch how poor and how sucky and how crappy your life turns out. So keep doing what you've been doing and you'll get the same results. If you do the same thing over and expect different results, that's actually the definition of insanity. So let's change what we're doing, folks. Let's actually, and this is important. He said possessions and health are expectations for many individuals. Listen to that. Possessions, house, car, clothes, things of that nature. Possession and health. I deserve health. I deserve a good heart. I deserve no cancer. I deserve no strokes. These are expectations for many individuals rather than considered personal blessings and are greatly appreciated. As I'm walking with my Darth Vader altitude mask on, I was grateful that I didn't pass out. I was struggling during those 3 miles, and I went just as fast as I do without that at sea level. I was so grateful. I was like, thank you. And somehow in that process, I actually was faster than I've ever been. How's that possible? Because I wasn't focusing on all the exploding feelings in my lungs and feeling like I'm starving up in my brain and dizzy and all of these things. Nope, I didn't focus on that. I was just grateful. And so we have to remember, consider this, that your health and blessings, these things are not owed to you. You are not owed good health. You are not owed a good life. You are owed nothing. You walk in this world bare, naked, and you leave it alone by yourself. Okay? Hopefully clothed, because I don't think any of us want to see you at 80 and 90 naked. But here's the part that's important. We have to be grateful. I am grateful that I am struggling to live. I am so grateful that I'm not dead. I am so grateful that I have a heart condition to fight for. I am. And that's one of the reasons they say that this miracle keeps walking, because of my gratitude. I'm not teaching you something out of a book. I'm telling you out of my daily journals what I have discovered, secrets from great masters and preachers, from God, from the words of those who have come before us. Here's another quote that's interesting I liked. He said, the same study talked about gratitude has for many been replaced by disappointment. When these expected blessings either do not appear or they disappear. How many of you guys can relate to that? I can. I've done that. Man, I had a nice car. I had a nice house, but my ex-wife took it all. Really? And be grateful. I was so grateful for all the money I made. I was so grateful for the multiple houses that I owned. I was so grateful for the houses that I lived in. I was grateful for those vacations. I was grateful for it all. I'm not angry, nor am I mad. I'm glad that my ex got all these things. God bless her. I wish her abundance of blessings, and I am grateful that she has this stuff, and I am grateful that I am now opened up to expand who I am, raise my consciousness, go to another level, because I had nothing after that. I lost it all. So I was free to create anything I wanted. I want to talk about the car gratitude. Think about this for a second. You've heard this stuff before, probably. A guy pulls into the parking lot, says to himself, hey, I'm going to get a parking lot right in the front. It's going to be in the front row. There's going to be a spot waiting for me. You watch. And you pull up and there's a spot. Literally, he pulls up and a car backs out and you pull in. I heard about this decades ago. We're talking 30 years ago. And I remember hearing motivational speakers and people that are talking in a positive aspect of life, talking about manifesting things, great teachers like Wayne Dyer and many others. We create what we really want in our subconscious, deep in there. If we want success, and then it comes. But if we're expecting it all to fall apart, then it will. If you expect your wife to divorce you, have sex with all your friends, and rob you, kidnap your kids, and take off, guess what? It's going to happen. I actually manifested it. I actually told the ex-wife for 10 years after the whole thing fell apart, the last 10 years of the 20-year marriage, was specifically about telling her how she was going to do it. And she did, just like I said, almost word for word. Almost word for word. So who manifested it? Was it her? Was it me? Interesting thought to think about. Now, the car gratitude versus saying, oh, I am sure that I'm going to get stuck in the back of the parking lot. If you ever drive with me, you know I actually usually get an amazing parking spot. See, when I pull into a parking lot, I just say, you know what? I am so grateful that I'm going to get the parking space that is right for me. I'm so grateful for that. And I pull up and it's like every time out of 10 times I do this, 9 of them, I get the perfect spot for my car every time. And I'm grateful. Now, I used to say things like this. God, I hate coming to Safeway. I got to come in here and get my meds. And what's going to happen. Some idiot's going to pull in and cut me off. Then I'm going to be mad. So I better go to the end of the parking lot and just park in the back. And then when I get out there, some idiot, because they're so far out in the parking lot, doesn't care. And they slam their door into mine. And oh, yeah, that's just how it always works. Your wish is God's command. Your wish, the universe will answer. The Creator will say, you wish this, then I will make it so. A lot of people make fun of my wife. They say things like maybe she's she's ditzy. She thinks that funny stuff. And what do I mean by funny stuff? Like simply, seriously, this woman is Mrs. Positive. I'm known as Mr. Positive, built a career around it, right? But I've always told you I'm also Mr. Negative, and I'm an oxymoron. But my wife actually is like Mrs. Positive. Like 9 out of 10 times, this woman is like, oh, don't you even think we're not going to get that car. Don't even say the words. She'll say something else. She won't say, don't think we're going to get it. She just goes, you better think we're going to get that car. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That thought, other than that, never came into my mind. Now you say that's hocus pocus. That's wishing you can pull things out. Interesting, because the greatest people that have walked the face of this earth all believe that. The Carnegies, okay, the Fords, the ones who created our car industry, the forefathers who actually took a mule and walked across this whole country to settle it. They had a dream and they believed in it. And they were grateful that they had the opportunity to try something. And they became legends. The Jedediah Smiths, the Muirs, all these great explorers. I can keep going. The basketball giants, the legends in the NBA, the NFL, the CEOs, the celebrities, your favorite talk show host, the people who, scrapped and fought their whole life. They all have this same core belief about gratitude. So I'm okay with you calling me crazy and saying it's foolish, because I'm in a great category with great people. And I like that. I like being foolish. If foolish leads me to a healthier life. Let's continue here. Stop telling yourself what you're going to do if it's negative. Stop it. Stop it. Get the word negative out of your mouth. Take the words can't out of your vocabulary, no's out of your vocabulary, many things that you need. Now, don't get me wrong. You do need to say no to certain things, but I'm talking about that negative accomplishment where you're always like, I can't do it. Nope, I won't be able to do it. I can't walk 3 miles. Do you understand? To have this mask on for 3 miles, the most I ever did was, I think, 1.5 miles, and I almost died. It was brutal. So what made me think I could twice the distance? What made me think it? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 27:3, it's on tattooed right there under that watch on my wrist. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If all you think is you're against you and it's a conspiracy and it's all going to end and it's all of this, that's what you're going to get. And that's what you're going to keep getting. And God bless you. I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because there's a better life for you out there. If you'll just, it's that old exercise where you have a couple of people at the work and you say, fall back into my arms and we catch you. The trust building, you've heard it, you've seen it, and people have joked about it. But there's truth in that. If you'll just trust me for a second, I promise you, if you can try these things, they will change your life. And here's what I'm talking about. John Artberg said, gratitude is the ability to experience life as a gift. Now, I want to talk about 10 specific things. And this actually is a really good lesson. Many teachers teach this. They have their own little version. This isn't even my version. This is really a mix of about 4 different versions that I really have enjoyed over the years studying from great people who have mastered the attitude and creative powers of gratitude. 10 gratitude exercises, if you will, or benefits. There's benefits of these 10 things that you can do. Number 1, being gratitude will improve your self-esteem. You say, but I'm not really good speaker, and I'm not really good with the people, and I kind of like to hide in my room. Start being grateful, and that will change. Your self-esteem will go up. You will feel more beautiful. You will feel more handsome. You will feel more successful if we're grateful. Now, it improves energy and health. I can't stress this to you enough. My cardiologist and everyone says to me, if I was to be negative, I'd probably have died 10 to 12 years ago, ballpark. Okay. So gratitude has kept my heart alive. You're going through some with your heart, listen to this old timer right here. Start being grateful for that pain. You don't understand. Oh, BS. You don't understand what I lived through. Let me tell you something. It's painful, and I am grateful for the pain. Thank you. I am so grateful. It just reminds me I'm alive. It reminds me I still have a little fight left in me. And it reminds me that I am blessed and I'm grateful for it. Gratitude makes us happier and more optimistic. You want to talk about money, right? How does gratitude get you money? Let me give you an example. I was at a seminar once. I was positive. I was optimistic. I was happy being my normal gratitude self. Very dear friend of mine right next to me was in a worse position than I was financially. And this person, here's the cool part, was not optimistic. They were pessimistic. They were not happy. They were sad and mad and angry. Remember, that sounded like a little bit about what we talked about earlier. Sad, angry, happy, optimistic, pessimistic. At the end of that meeting, the person giving the meeting handed me a check for. My friend actually blew his gasket. He's like, why did you give him $5,000? Why did he get it? I want to know, because I'm actually the one that really needs money. And the speaker, I'll never forget. It was real simple. He said, I can smell sincerity and when you just want something. And he says, what does that mean? He says, real simple, man. He says, this guy is optimistic. He's in here and always talking about the best things in life, even though you listen to him and you go, man, those are pretty bad things. Nope, not him. He thinks they're positive. He finds the positive in a dear loved one passing. He finds the positive in a child's loss. He finds the positive of being imprisoned. He finds the positive. He finds the positive. He finds the positive. I walked out $5,000 richer. He didn't. And to this day, that dear friend of mine from like 25 years ago, still broke, still complaining every week. And every time I talk to him, man, life just is pretty crappy. Yeah, it is, because you make it. You and me, we create our life. Let's continue here. More resilient. If you're gratitude, if you have a gratefulness about you, you're going to be more resilient. And you're going to deal with adversity so much easier. You're going to have like 5,000 things falling apart at one time, and you're going to stand in the midst of the storm and be calm, cool, and collected. And then the powers to be are going to see that and go, whoa, did you see that gal? The whole hurricane was just raging, and her personal life was raging. And she smiled and said, it's okay, everybody, calm down. We've got this. And she led her department through that horrible nightmare, whatever it was. She gets the bonus. She's the next huge promotion. That's what it takes. You got to be gratitude and grateful for everything, because it will make you more generous, and it also makes you more forgiving. Being grateful makes me forgive more, because I'm grateful for the forgiveness that I get. Listen, I have walked back to Maine and I have seen some of the people that I hurt physically. The man that his knee I broke to make my bones back in the days, shattered it with the Louisville Slugger. The guy never is going to walk ever normal. And I did that. And I'm not proud. I'm sad. But I am grateful that I used that horrible thing I did to make me realize I got to change my ways. And it allowed that horrible thing I did of hurting another human to turn me into a path of enlightenment, kind, generous person. It keeps you in the present and in the moment. That's important. It also helps you to be happy and notice the present. In other words, notice that you're present. It lowers stress. Science has proven you want high blood pressure, be grateful more. It gets rid of anxiety. You say, I'm so filled with anxiety. Every time the phone rings, it's a bill collector. No. You know what I do? When I'd answer the phone, when I used to have all those bill collectors, I'd be like, hey, this is Jonathan. Are you the guy calling me to send me that check for $1,000? I was expecting it. I'd get a bill in the mail, and it 7 or 8 of them. And I tweaked my brain, and they're not just bills. And I would look at it and be like, oh, someone's sending me a check. Is that a check for $8,000? No, it's a bill for $8,000 for a medical bill. And you know what was amazing? About a month after I started doing foolish things like that, someone sent me a check. They actually sent a check. They heard negative into a positive, and they said, my gosh, that's what I want to feed into. That's the person I want to invest financially to, physically, spiritually, every aspect. That's the person. So you have to be ready. It also will improve your relationships, because being generous and kind to others automatically improves your relationship. It provides perspective, and it helps you to keep looking for the positive, the good. It's there. Every murder, there is a positive. You say, no, there's not. I've been in the murder situations, and I'm here to tell you there is positive. Right? I lost my child. Yeah, I know that pain too. And there is positive and good that can come from it, and you have to search for that. Not easy. One of my favorite authors, got a spiritual man, a medical doctor, went to Harvard, and is a spiritual sage. Deepak Chopra, he says, gratitude opens the door to the power, the wisdom, and the creativity of the universe, also known as God. This is worth repeating, probably writing it down. Gratitude opens the door to the power, the wisdom, the creativity of the universe. The best use of imagination is creativity. The worst use of imagination is anxiety. So as I close with this. Tap into the power, tap into the wisdom, tap into the creativity, and create your life. A few years ago, when I went through my divorce, when I went through this horrific time in my life, 8 years ago almost, I think. I'd have to double check. Somewhere close to 8 years. I had nothing. I lost it all, and then some. And you know what? I started manifesting in my thoughts this empire that I was going to build, but this time not for wealth, but to change the world. And I started putting it together, and I wrote down the business plan, and then I wrote down the model, and then I wrote down the people I wanted on the board, and I wrote down the people I wanted to work with, and then I wrote down the sections and how I was going to do it, and how I'd set the websites up, and how I'd open up the men's and women's homes, and how I would build the church, and how I would do the nonprofits, and how I would get this. I wanted this attorney involved with us, and I wanted this person involved with my board, and I want that person to be a speaker at our annual men's retreat and our annual women's retreat. I want this person. And guess what? I'm getting every single thing I've asked for. Everything. All of it. I wanted a ton of money so I can, and every time I ask for money, it just comes. Somebody shows up and says, oh my God, I heard you had a need to do this. And they give me the money. Why do they give me the money? Because every single thing that I just walked you through in my journal is what I do on a daily basis. It's not BS. It's not for some show. It's not for some YouTube. It's not for some church channel. This is the real McCoy, folks. And if you want to get all the things you want in this world, you got to start with gratitude. And it took me a few years of getting nothing in return. So be prepared. You're going to go through a wilderness experience, and you're going to think, but I'm grateful, and I've been grateful for 3 years. But the second you stop is when the blessings would have come in. So you don't stop. And then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, stop. I know I said I needed a car. Lord have mercy. I got 6 people giving me a car for free. You understand? I love you guys. God loves you. You know the drill. Live positive. But as we live positive, let's close out our month lessons in January as we go into February now with the creative power. And the secret is gratitude. I love you guys. Take care. We'll see you next week. Really exciting news. As all of you know, we have a Marysville church Thursday nights at 6 to 7 p.m. at Jonathan's Refuge. And that's over by Walmart in Arlington, Smoky Point side. And then we are launching next Tuesday in South Everett, our newest church. And I'm very excited. I've got more news to talk about it. We've got a new shepherding pastor coming on board. She's amazing. She is so positive. She's like me, filled with tons of health problems. And you don't hear her griping and complaining. You know what she does? She puts a smile on and feels the pain and says, thank you, Lord, and keeps on going. And you're going to get a chance to meet her next week. I look forward to introducing to you all on the website and on the church channels. God bless. Take care.